Did I say welcome to the Books and Music Show? Books and Music Review Show. And today we've got Mona. We got the disclaimer up for 5 seconds or however many. Shall I go 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi? Years ago we used to say that was a second if you said, the numbers in the Mississippi. But there you go. I think everybody's had a chance to read that. And we'll go back over to Mona. So Mona.
Hi, everybody.
How's life today?
I'm glad to be back. It's been a long, cold winter, but I have music to warm my heart, and I hope that as a result of some of the shows I've done before, that I've communicated to you that it should be a part of your life as well. And it can be a part in many ways. I will quickly remind you that I am not a critic, I am not a reporter, although who knows, someday I may be. I am a music appreciation artist, teacher, etc. I hope to explain some of the things I know about music. I hope to inform you what's happening in Staten Island and Manhattan, a bus trip away. So here goes. The last show, for those of you who could not tune in, I discussed dancing. And as a rule, I will review and talk a little more about the last topic I presented. So, dancing. I told a lot about the different venues for dancing, about dancing schools and so on, but I'm not going over that again. Try to get on to YouTube so that you can see that maybe the second time if you've already forgotten like I do. So I want to fill in. When we finished the last show, I was telling you about organizations here on the island that really got me so excited to having moved here because they had to do with dancing. I might have mentioned someone told us about the ballroom dance lessons at the Broadway Y. Since I'm on the South Shore, I never took the lessons there, but we had a friend who fortunately found someone who was giving lessons here at the Hutner Pasqualini Post. So when I moved here in 1989, my husband and I went there with Carl and Marie Guzzi introducing us to ballroom lessons. I may have mentioned we went in thinking we knew how to dance ballroom. Well, we did a little bit, a very little bit, because when the music played and the other dancers who had been there for beginner lessons started to do their intermediate dancing, we were completely lost. So find a place to learn to dance. And I mentioned last time, there are many places. Take a look at the last screening. As a result of having taken those lessons, we knew how to dance. And I really strongly suggest, from what I've just told you, that dancing is not something you jump into like the water to swim. Take lessons. You might have a good ballroom dancer teach you if you're lucky enough to have friends who do. You can watch ballroom tapes. And if you're good at learning that way, you can find on websites companies that sell the DVDs that show you step by step and tell you what the important techniques are for the different dances. Whatever you do, don't try to learn dancing from a book. I remember when I was young and wanted to learn the dancing, there was the very first, was it Fred Astaire Studios? He was on television at that time, and he was teaching ballroom dancing. We're going back to the 50s. And he published a book, and I bought it. And what he did was put pictures of steps on the page of the book, and I was supposed to learn from that. I don't know how many people did. I couldn't. I even put the book on the floor and started to step on the steps in the book. Yeah, didn't work. Best thing is to have a good teacher. And I mentioned to you there are many dance studios on the island. Ask around. You will find them even when you're going to a particular teacher. If for some reason it doesn't work for you, talk to the people that are there and ask them where they've been, and you'll find dancers are very giving people, especially information about dancing. So learn how to dance first. Once you have learned to dance, find those places on Staten Island where you can get on the dance floor. And again, I think I mentioned my husband and I went regularly to the Betty Post on Highland Boulevard. And if you inquire, they have a phone number online. They will tell you when there is a dance there. Oh, by the way, it's one thing to learn how to dance. It's another thing to remember how to dance. If you're like me, you forget. And so in order to review the dancing, you must practice. Once you've learned the steps, find somewhere. There are practice spaces in the studios. What we did is we went to dance halls, some here in Staten Island, some in Manhattan, some in New Jersey, and we danced. When we first started, I think I mentioned 3-4 times a week. And then my husband set up a studio downstairs in the house. So I'd come home from work with my briefcase and put down my briefcase, put on my ballroom shoes, and we would practice dancing. And I must say, because we practiced as much as we did, we were invited to more dances. There was a couple we know who had a studio in the place where they lived, and they got people together for a Saturday night dance in their own studio. So there are plenty of places. We, as I said, we went to the Betty Post. There are dances at Old Bermuda Inn. I would tell you more venues, but I'm not sure if some of them still exist. My husband is gone 5 years, so I haven't been to those venues, and so always look online or call ahead to see if there are dances taking place. I know that they've just opened a new dance hall at the side of Z2. I haven't been there yet. I was told they have hustle on Friday nights. They have freestyle dancing on Saturday nights, and so forth. I also, very short time ago, went to the Hilton for their salsa night, and I stayed up too late. I danced all night and into the wee hours of the morning. Also, I'm talking about ballroom dances, but I don't want you to feel that's the only kind of dancing that you can do. When I finish talking about the ballroom, I'll tell you a little bit about the other kinds on the island. Right now, I want to get back to a topic I had started, which was the Staten Island Ballroom Society. My husband and I were dancing at La Betty. Someone came over to us and said, "You guys are good dancers. Would you like to join our club?" That was the Staten Island Ballroom Society. We were so lucky. We said yes, and didn't lose a moment. Yes, yes. How do we become members? Well, the first rule, you have to have a sponsor. No, I'll say the first rule, you have to know how to dance, ballroom dancing specifically. Once you know and you find a sponsor, they will tell you there's an application, and they will tell you a little bit of information about the other requirements for joining the group, what the group is like, etc. And then they will tell you you cannot join the club unless you pass a test, right? So they have someone there who tests you, and the criteria are that you must be able to dance 4 dances. Now, I'm not saying you have to be an expert, but you have to know more than the basic. You have to know enough steps to dance those dances, I'd say at least 5 to 10 minutes, not just one step for 4 and 5 minutes. All right, so because you took lessons, as I suggested, that's not going to be a problem. The 4 dances have to be 4 different dances. Learn what the possible dances are. Our dances that we picked were the waltz and the foxtrot, which are traditionally the most popular dances that people do. The nightclub two-step, you know, the slow dances where you get close on the dance floor once you know someone, that's the foxtrot. But ballroom foxtrot, you're not getting close just for the sake of getting close. There are steps where you are turning. There are definitely steps that take you around the perimeter of the dance floor. These are definitely dances that you cannot stay in one spot. Otherwise, it will look like a traffic jam. So you will learn those steps to the foxtrot and the waltz that will take you around the dance floor. And of course, as you get better and better at it, because of the practice I told you about, you will be doing some very fancy footwork as you are traveling around that dance floor. There are other dances I don't suggest for the basic ballroom. There's the Peabody. I would not start off with that. And you can look up. I won't bend your ear with all the details. They're online. Ask whoever, whatever woman you bought to tell you what to do in the house, whatever electronic device it is. Ask her what are the American Standard ballroom steps. And then The other aspect that you might like, I like, are the Latin dances. And those are the ones we knew best when we went in there. We thought we knew the cha-cha. Yes, we knew the basic step, we knew the turn, but there's so much more. I was told how many steps altogether there are to the cha-cha. I forget exactly what they are, but there's really no limit, because as people do other dances, they start bringing the steps from those dances into the cha-cha. So we dance the cha-cha. I particularly like merengue. Samba is a lot of fun. You want to burn up a lot of calories, pick samba. I could go on and on. Of course, salsa now is the current craze. There's a lot to learn there. We had done mambo when we learned, and so the transition from the mambo into the salsa made it easier for us to learn the salsa. But again, look online, have your electronic device tell you what the different ballroom Latin dances are, and then you can take it from there. By the way, the thought occurs to me, you have to, after, I would say, a month of dancing, just to make sure it's what you want, that you want more of it, buy ballroom dance shoes. There is, in my opinion, nothing as uncomfortable as wearing sneakers to do ballroom dancing. So that's something you'll have to look into. As far as the Ballroom Club is concerned, they have meetings. You have to attend 3 meetings in a year. There is a membership fee. You'll get all that information when you join. What does the club offer? Once you've done everything I've said and you are admitted into the club, you have Thursday night socials where there are a group of wonderful people who know how to dance and will help you along the way. You're not judged there. We're not professionals who will tell you you're not doing the steps correctly. So Thursday nights offer the friendship, and they are lifetime friendships for the people who have been there the longest. I've been there since 2001, so I've gotten to know a lot of people, but like I'm telling you, we have new people coming in all the time once they have met the requirements. So when you come on those Thursday social evenings, there are some very excellent dance teachers whose names I won't mention because we don't sell anything on the show, who will give you a lesson for one of those Thursday nights. So that too is a great benefit to joining. They also have ballroom nights at some of the most beautiful catering venues on the island. There too, I'm not going to push them, but we are given a sumptuous dinner, a chance to socialize, and a huge dance floor for us to practice and strut our stuff. So that's my plug for the Ballroom Dance Club. You can find more information online. All right, I have to now get to the singing part of the show because I've reviewed enough. If you want more about the dancing or any other topic that I've covered so far, feel free to write an email to the Books and Music website, which I don't see on the bottom of the screen, but I'm sure Lynn will put up there for you. Feel free to write and say, I want more dance information, or I can add information I feel Staten Islanders should know, okay? All right, so moving on, and I'll come back to dancing from time to time. There are always new things to talk about. Let's talk about singing. Before I talk about singing, I have to tell you that I was born to two singing families. Well, we had one professional in each of my parents' families. One was an opera singer in Moscow, and another was a Catskills hotel singer. And she had gigs in the Catskills in the summertime every weekend. I told you about that, but I'll tell you more sometime. The question is, do you think you have to know how to sing in order to sing in Staten Island? My answer is no, and I'll tell you why. First of all, don't you sing in the shower? I'm sure you do. You're shaking your head. We all do. For some reason, I sound great in the shower. And I think you do too. There's something about the water echoing that covers up a multitude of sins. But I sing in the shower all the time. And you know now they sell waterproof CDs and players and radios and so forth because marketers know we sing in the shower. We sing in the shower. Anyway, you heard my voice. That's not one of the things I care to talk about. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. I was a successful singer in a children's show. I sang a Jerry Lewis song, and it went like this. I can sing the words, moon, spoon, June, tune. You notice how great I am? That's because I'm talking the sounds, right? But then, like Jerry Lewis, who I was copying because it was comedy, the next part of that song was, but I can't carry a tune. Please don't flick your dial off. It's a good show. Sorry if I turned you off, but don't turn the television off. I promise I won't do it again. But I want to tell you something. I know people in my generation and one or two below are saying they don't like rap. Well, let me tell you, or take the opportunity to tell you, that now that there's rap, I can talk songs. And because I'm also a writer, and I write poetry, there is poetry in rap. But you don't have to sing it. The lyrics, in many cases, are spoken. And just like the example I gave you, some of the very popular songs today are a mixture of lyrical songs with music and rap without music, and now rap, which is a combination of the two. So get ready for some rap. Maybe I'll write a poem and do the rap for you. I think I would do a mama rap. I would say, I don't want you to mumble. I do want you to be humble. And I could go on and on from there. But I won't unless you, well, you don't have to get on your knee. Just write on the website. Okay, so you sing. I sang also, and maybe it accounts for some of my children's troubles, but I still highly recommend you sing to your babies. I sang to my babies until they were 2 years old. The lullabies, so beautiful, so peaceful. They fell asleep, and I fell asleep with them. So I highly recommend singing to your children until the age where you start to see them fidgeting around, or like my grandson who closed the door on me when I started singing. So, or my dog who started howling when I started singing. So sing if other people are happy, if they love it. When they say they love your singing, make sure that they're not saying it to make you feel good. So
We have 4 minutes and
Aw.
18 seconds.
Well, that's okay, because you will get a continuation on the next show. There's a lot more I have to tell you. So just before the time warning, I just want you to be aware, not that I'm giving you a homework assignment, that when you sing in a group, it covers up your voice. And that group just might need the tone that you have. I mean, after all, do you think they told Louis Armstrong when he was in the church choir that he should do a solo? I'm not so sure. With his raspy voice, well, he didn't have it when he was in the youth choir. But then as he grew up and it started to get raspy, I'm wondering if people didn't tell him, you need a day job. So we'll talk more about whether or not your voice fits into a choir. Remember that, well, I'm not sure what years you went to school. When I went to school, we had the school chorus, and I had a class in chorus. And I remember our teacher in that class would walk by each one of us, and she would say, and it's a joke now, she would say, sing low. Okay, the joke is sing solo, meaning so low nobody can hear you. But she didn't say that to me. I was very happy I got to sing, because singing is a wonderful thing. And I see you're putting your flowers up. Do I have time to talk about why singing is so wonderful?
Yes, that was my mistake.
Okay.
You have 2 minutes.
No, I love the flowers. So when I was in school and we took chorus, and then I went to my house of worship, I had a better feeling about singing the songs in my house of worship. As a youngster, it's easy to remember the words. It's hard to know what to do to get that musicality across. And now that I'm older, I can't remember the words, and I haven't got the musicality. But guess what? I'm still singing in a chorus. So just to wrap up, you can sing. Just the way I told you, you can dance. Remember I told you about the deaf man who was dancing. You can sing, you just have to find the place to do it. Because I was in a chorus, I have a different group now. But because I had it, when I left that chorus, I would go home singing the songs. And when things were bad, I didn't break out in a fever. I broke out in a song. It really lifted my spirits. I just made sure nobody else who was around had me dampen their spirits when I did it. So think now, before I start to speak on the next program, about ways you can start singing. You have to develop the lungs, and you can only do that if you sing. So don't be afraid. Find the place where you can sing in Staten Island.